G'day guys, we are back. We're going to be slashing some paint on this one. I'm excited. I've got a little bit of coffee left and a whole bunch of paint. This one here is ripe for its fourth layer. Absolutely ripe for it. It's had a bunch of paint cascaded all over it. It's turned from green to red, back to Naples yellow, back to green. It's kind of been fun. It's been a wee bit wild, and I think now's the time to hit it with a bunch more delightful green. I want a little bit of the stuff that is heavy bodied, a little bit of soft bodied, and a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of the stuff that makes it run. We're not going to overdo it with that. We're just going to get a little bit. Enough to make it follow my orders. There we go. And a little bit of white. Is it enough? Maybe just a little more around the back there. Fantastic. Brush. We're going to go slightly larger. We're going to keep it in kilter. Let's take the large one. G'day guys. We've got Eric in the building, Sabin, New Orleans, Jennifer, RC, good to see you. Thanks for joining on in. Let's see if we can have some pretty spectacular effects on this beautiful Statue of Liberty. All right. Without further ado, in fact, I think. I'm just going to grab this. Bear with me for just a moment. I've got an idea. I'm going to leap on down here and put on the, where are they hiding? Connect my AirPods to the Bluetooth, 1 second. But I can't do it on my phone because the phone's currently in use to talk to you guys. So, what I need, first off, is for them to show up. Alright, we did our best and it quickly landed in a too hard basket. Let's come back in here. There we go. Perfecto. I did my best, but as you guys know, technology is not my thing. Well, it's a little bit unfair actually. Technology, I'm not good at making it happen suddenly on the fly. And as the years have ticked by, that ability's got even worse and worse. So, luckily, I've got a brother who absolutely loves tech. And so I'm fortunate enough that he guides me through a few little pieces. Like the website as well, he helps for that. He helps for even accounts. Great brother. Beautiful Statue of Liberty. Yes, indeed, Paul. That's exactly what we have. And the goal here is to really get that beauty of it. The green goddess. So we're using all the colors in the spectrum. We're building up many, many layers. We're using many, many pigments. But as we go, I want to keep falling back on that color of green. No matter how crazy we go, we can go across into turquoises and teals and write them up as green, but actually we're going to focus around the green. There we go. Beautiful. Hey Jules, how we doing? We're back on the green goddess. Xavier, appreciate you and what you do, because the portrait of Liberty is beautiful. All right. Well, I'm glad. But when you say follow my orders, just follow them up to the point that actually you discover and learn something new, and then run off on your own style. The last thing you could do, the worst thing you could do, is jump up and copy my style. Because in that process, you'll deny yourself your own. And just like I can't be as great as your best style, what I can always do is my style. This is my style, this chaotic, wild kind of paint. Somehow being able to see an image through absolute chaos in paint. Up close, no plan, disaster, paint everywhere, expression. But from a distance, the whole thing seems to come together. And that's beautiful. Here we are. Beautiful. You're being cheeky? Well, I took it seriously. You're welcome. Yeah. Aloha, Steve. How are we doing? And Candace, yes indeed. You've hit it on the money. But like I say, guys, look, I'm going to bring you up for this actually, because I keep saying this, but I need you guys to understand what I'm talking about. When I say you can see a picture coming up from your distance point of view, from where you're standing, you think, yeah, I can see the Statue of Liberty. Let me bring you closer to this unruly, chaotic mess. So you can see right up close here, stripped, barbaric colours, some transparent, all just diving over the top of each other, wild, chaotic, messy. There's no continuity or system up close. It's just wild, primal paint in a human attempt to express something. But when I bring you back to this point, back to here if I don't mess up the camera, there we go. When I bring you back to this point, they all seem to have this continuity and come together and make sense. But up close, like I say, and remember, we're only a fourth or a fifth of the way there with the amount of chaotic strokes that I want to have in there. So from up close, the chaos wants to be in abundance, absolutely uncontrolled. And then from a distance, it all comes together. Now, that being said, every stroke isn't a random stroke. It's not like a, oh, I want chaos, so I'll put strokes anywhere. It's a, every single stroke poetically notices its own little moment in the photo. So nothing's random. That's so important with impressionism. To actually paint what you really truly believe you see, and your tools and your ability to perceive it being the main things that distort it from a photo or a perfect memory of it. It's chaotic in America now. Send this. It's exciting. Well, I like your thinking, but I'm not sure if I can send it to the White House, being that this is a commission. And so the commission has a home already. Hayden, how we doing? I think you could argue that I'm stepping back every time I come forward and talk to the camera. It's not a massive break. It's not a full-on 2-hour contemplation, but it is a little gap during making the work. And I suppose every time one's finished, I also take 2 days. That's what I'm doing with the 2 portraits right now. If you might remember, there was Fernando and there was Christoph. So Fernando and Christoph, 2 portraits that are completed, but I'm just sitting with them. I'm just understanding whether they are complete or whether there's pockets or moments that I've actually missed in this process. If everything looks perfectly finished, it'll ship. But it's so important that you take that moment to actually be the viewer, because if you're the viewer on your own painting, especially a finished work, then all of a sudden you can actually go, I wish the artist had done this. I wish I'd done that. Newsflash, you are the artist. So once you've had those thoughts, you can go adjust those things and increase or make it a better viewing experience. And you'll be like, but what about the true art that happened in the moment? Yeah, I get that. But the real true art is how well it connects with individuals. And if you sat back and looked at the painting and realized that actually by adding these things, you'd help it better connect with its audience, then that sounds like a pursuit of true art. not a revisiting of something that should be finished. You can come back to things years after. As long as your intentions were that when you came back to it, you'd improve it for everyone. Some of us might go back just to destroy. Have you ever scrapped a piece after taking a day or two? I haven't scrapped a piece after taking a day or two, but I have put some pieces on the emergency agenda of you are not done, you cannot leave the studio, whether I sand you back, cover you with a resin, add more paint to you, or just risk everything with a big old plate covered with pigments, you're not finished yet. And so I have held paintings back on that front. But nothing yet. I mean, 2024 has only just started, so me saying nothing yet doesn't really mean a whole lot. But I think it was only maybe 2 paintings last year that I thought to myself, no, I need to do something drastic with you. And in the end, we succeeded with both, so the process works. You've just got to trust it. Are you a school lecturer? Filipino NZ Ash. I'm not a lecturer. I went and had a lot of lectures at university, but I myself was never actually a lecturer. So, but you can tell I like to talk. And I try to express my opinions, but I try not to be opinionated. One of the things I do pretty often here is I'll start on one opinion, and then maybe 3 sessions down the road, I'll say to you guys, I've actually swapped my mind on that. I'm thinking like this now. I think that, I think this. Now, these things are constantly in flux. You're learning the whole time too. You might find a process which is actually better than what you're currently doing. What would define better? Something that connected with people more, actually allowed them to feel it more. I keep finding out that I keep being tempted towards a more realism style. I can't help myself to gravitate towards it slightly in the attempt to please everyone. But the wild card on that is the work that I know connects the best with people is the wild, chaotic, crazy stuff when from a distance you can perceive its beauty. But I'll be honest, there is that allure constantly following me, thinking, actually, imagine if I just swap my paint style to appease the masses and show them just a regular style that I know would make people happy. But the problem is, you wouldn't actually be making people happy. You're projecting on what you think people want, when actually, I think deep down we do want the chaos. We do want to see in a square on the wall something that's real, expressive, a sort of truth spoken or a connection to a more primal version of ourselves. So in that sense, I think we do need chaotic paint. Definitely an argument, not against AI, but photography came in and we didn't lose paint. People said the skill of painting was going to die. But for some reason, we were still attracted to the inconvenience of slashing around a paintbrush on a flat surface. And once we can suddenly tell AI to generate any image we want, the idea of surrealism in art or painting what you need to see, in any sense, may be completely gone. And I think that'll expose for us even more how much we value crazy, expressive, wild art. It was never because, once we could ask for anything, it was never because of actually the picture in itself was the only thing that mattered. It was the creation of it. It was the human aspect of it. It was this is evidence, almost like a movie set item or artifact. This is evidence that something chaotic and real happened. Every stroke you see is actually in a detective's book. You know, you could use it all to understand the chaos. That movement there, I can imagine the movement that was behind it. It'd be like Imagine if someone sold you one of Jackie Chan's cutting blocks. It'd be beautiful because you can look at the split in the block, the two pieces of it, and from that, you permanently have the evidence that Jackie Chan, one of your childhood heroes, had cut the block. Now, not that any picture's been painted by Jackie Chan, but the idea of actually seeing art and knowing the moments and the actions that happen behind the strokes. I can imagine for any client of mine, if they purchased a piece of artwork and found out I just put the approved picture and the paintbrush just moved around the surface and painted it, it'd be cool, granted, but I don't think that's what any client thought they were buying. They thought they were buying almost like the evidence of the moment that created the picture. Not in any visual social media stuff, but the evidence in the form of the actual painting itself in the flesh existed, the evidence that that moment happened. That tree didn't fall silently in the forest, if you will. Deep thought. And thanks, Anthony. Good to have you here. Mark, me and you are the same. We are on the same level with that. But the loose style as well. The problem with the word loose is it makes it sound like the moments you make are less intentional or premeditated. Every stroke we're making is still intentional and premeditated. It just doesn't land in the system that makes up a realism painting. But when I'm doing realism sort of art versus this type of art, every stroke takes the same amount of effort. It's just as hard to embrace the perfect stroke as it is to embrace the stroke of chaos. I actually sometimes get insecure and think to myself, what I should do is just do one realism painting a month where you do some really nice detail on it. And then people will understand your other work. And maybe I should do that just to address my own insecurities. Maybe we can just sit down and do a giant, accurate cityscape and just gruel away at it for 20 to 30 hours until we've got something hyper-realistic. We can look at the little street lights that were premeditated dots and the gradients in the sky and be like, wow, I can now look myself in the mirror. But I think the real element you want to get fulfillment from is when you and a client can both look at a picture and have the same feeling, embrace the same emotions or elements or vibrant chaos. Because if you can do that, if you can both have that connection, then that's the true art. If you want to capture reality, you've got to do that by your own terms. You can't be doing that by someone else's conditions. Painterly, yes. I do like a painterly style. I feel like painterly is not a confusing term, but it's less nailed down. Like Impressionism and Expressionism, they have quite hard definitions, but painterly can be quite fluid. Paintings from different eras can be painterly. It's kind of like using the term impasto. You know, this painter used texture, this painter didn't. And in that regard, there we are. Lovely, more green. In that regard, it's less of a term of a movement, but more of just a way to describe a technique that was engaged with. Which definitely does mean loose strokes, absolutely. All right, how are we doing? Doing good. Here we go. How many lovely people have we got here? That's fun. We got 48 people. Lovely individual people from all over the world doing their thing. and doing me the absolute pleasure of right now being able to share this process with someone. I want to make it very clear, and I've said this for anyone who's been here before, that this process wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for there being, first off, connection and between other human beings during the creation process. Alone changes things that are done together, but also the idea that actually to get into the flow state, to actually engage with the work, there is this you're here, I'm here, feed off you guys, let's make the artwork style mentality. As if like the little moments that happen when you make a painting, the little pockets of actions and the colours that pop out, it's when you're the only one who sees it, it feels sometimes like a tree that fell in the woods, and after it's finished, did it ever happen? But when you're able to actually make the painting from scratch with people, some part of your monkey brain, and it is a monkey brain, some part of that monkey brain, the brain of a Homo sapien, actually thinks to itself, it wasn't alone, I suppose. The action mattered, it was seen. All right. Now these are the tiny little bits of green highlights. But as we go, one colour I've neglected quite significantly up till now in amongst the spectrum is white, but actually white with a little bit of black. Who knows what that makes? Get ourselves grey. And grey is one of those colours that you typically get quite nervous around as a painter, especially when everyone tells you that the most beautiful thing about your art's the colour, the colour, the colour. You start avoiding those colours that actually acted to create contrast and beauty within your colour palette. So you have to be careful. Sometimes that praise can be, oh my God, your colours are so beautiful, like this, like that. It can be the one thing that's tough to hear. Long term, you'll start changing. All right. It is stupendously hot outside. Let me just chuck on some of this. And if I run away to get myself a water bottle, please don't be surprised for a little bit of my watered down coffee left, but certainly not going to hydrate me. And once I'm dehydrated, it'll be too late. So these are the factors. Hey guys. Now, this has been done a little bit rough, so if there's sunscreen splots on me, know that I'm not too worried. There we go. Ugh, got a bit much. There we go. Okay. We are good for action. Covered in sunscreen. One last sip. We'll stretch it to 2. SPF protection, it is sitting on 30. But that's okay, because we won't be out here for more than 4 hours. So with that in mind, it's overkill. Someone's going to be like, that is not how it works. You are incorrect. There is more to it than you're making out. Yeah. A bit of dual welding here. Yeah. That smaller brush, baby. Always a pleasure. Can you hear me clearly enough if there's a brush in my mouth? Or do the words get distorted? Because we're going to trade backwards and forwards reasonably frequently. One brush is going to carry that light grey, and the other one is going to carry that black. So we just move around. Keep going, here we go. Grey back to black. See, you can't do that with a single brush because the colour won't change fast enough, and you're going to end up with much more in-between colours. And those in-between colours turn the whole work to quite a porridgey outcome. And if you're going to get a porridgey outcome from it, you need to adjust. And usually the best adjustment you can make is getting that second brush. Usually, a lot of the time for me, I just go around the canvas with one brush, and isolate and spot areas as I go. But sometimes, like in a work like this, you're going to want to tag backwards and forwards. There we are. Beautiful. Small brush with a bit of black through it. It's going to capture a lot of these little moments for us. And then we're going to charge off and grab. You're going to charge off and grab, I think blue, light blue. Get into that background and attack it, but we'll see. We will see. This is not my backyard. I'm visiting my parents midweek because my brother's home. He usually lives overseas. So, I've come back to visit my parents, and this is outside their house. But they're both out at the moment. So, my brother works from home. Not from this home, but he works remotely. So he's doing that. I'm out here painting, making this picture, which honestly, I like the travel because if I'm somewhere other than the studio or the Orewa, the normal place that I'm at, the change actually, vitalizes the artwork. If I was just in the same studio the whole time, it's going to start becoming craft. It's going to start becoming stale. Art requires that movement, demands it. Without it, who knows? Scared to think. Alrighty, Chachi. A bit more of this one. Beautiful. Up the top here. Lovely. Hello, Sophie. How you doing? So, for something like this, it will vary depending on where in the world I'm shipping it to. In this case here, this one's a large piece. Now, I say large, but for me it's pretty regular. This is my golden size. If I had a favorite size, it's the 24 by 48 inches at the moment. I know this changes all the time. It used to be 34 by 24, but I actually like the up and down changing, the ability to move around the picture, the demand for you to move around the picture. But both those sizes I like. At the moment though, soft spot for 24 by 48. It's also a nicer size to ship. It's one of the, I'd do bigger still, but the ability to ship the works is interesting. Being that once they go over a certain size, they're well and truly a 2-person carry or an oversized delivery, which makes them cost an additional $4,000 or $5,000. So it's not that that makes it impossible, but it's that it's much more friendly or simpler to ship artwork. They go to a maximum size of, I think it's 36 by 48 inches until it steps up a notch. So, although it's beautiful to work on any size, I wouldn't ship artwork rolled, and therefore it's a fun limitation that's been applied. Sometimes those limitations are what make you grow the most. It sounds cheesy, but it's true. It's very much true. And welcome on in, Jitnat. I think I'm saying that right. Ooh, Sophie, you are literally in the same location right now as my partner. So, my partner is down at Christchurch working with some schools at the moment. That's part of the reason why I've popped off to the Bay of Plenty. How wild's that? In fact, go out on the street right now and start screaming out Shelby. And if she's like within 20 feet, you know, you never know, you might meet her. And I appreciate you, Jake. So, Mr. Smith. I always say Jay Smith. But, he's correct. All the links of everything you need are in the bio. And now you, jeepers. I hope you're talking about art. In terms of the art, I wouldn't call these side pieces, I'd call these main events. There's this one. There's the drag queen picture, which I love. There's the 2 portraits that I'm just been a viewer on right now, getting used to and falling in love with. And then there's the 1, 2, 3, 4. There might be another one on the way. Well, there is other ones on the way, but I mean locked and loaded. There's, oh, got riddled through my mouth. Disaster. Locked and loaded is these 4. And I don't want to tell you about projects that may or may not go to the next level. So let's say for now, there's 4. I think there's still room though in March. I need to check. I reckon there'd be room. No, I think the next commission that you'll hear about will be in April, I reckon. Mid-April. It's just a guess, but I reckon mid-April. There we go. Let's get those eyes there a little bit. Beautiful. Yeah, Chuck, welcome to my studio. Here we are. All right, now we're talking. Hello, Vic from Atlanta. How are we doing? Good one, Dave. You're a legend, Dave. Oh, that was good. That was very good. A little bit of red that just splashed through there. Just like to say I'm proud of that red. Went exactly where I wanted it to go. And now we're going to come down here. Lovely. Okay, you're going to start to see more form showing up. Let me bring you up closer though. Just briefly, so you can see. Let's bring you in here. To bring you right up here, look how chaotic that is. So, you're back here and you're looking at the picture, but actually, it makes reasonable sense. But then the closer you come to it, the more chaotic and wild this paint becomes. There's a mixture of matte mediums, gloss mediums. The painting's doing everything all at once. Every single stroke's trying to find its own little corner of reality and not caring for the ones that surround it. Now the beauty behind that, I might just twist around a little bit, team. The beauty behind that is it correlates to how we exist as human beings. That from a close-up perspective, everyone's charging after their own little bit of desire. Everyone's not working in tandem, but running off on escapades in all sorts of different directions. And yet from a distance, there is this beautiful harmony. That, whoop, if I don't kick everything around me, that is what we're after. Now let's bring you over here. You might be too far away there, actually. Don't be shy, come forward. There we go, beautiful. Let's bring it there, nice. Now what's loose here? There we go, now it's all tight. Good position, Claudia likes it, we're away. Okay. Last sip of my little instant coffee. Glad I saved that half. Real treat for me. Now, let's go to work. I can put you on my head, but you're already there. Woo. Lucifer. I do like that show. I don't understand the reference, but I do like the show. It's, yeah, I like it. Should put red bits in his crown. Well, there's an idea. Certainly there's an idea. But I don't think we'll pursue that idea. Alrighty tighty. Righty tighty. I guess we're kind of following that rule there. I've haven't added red to the crown, but pink kind of snuck in there. That might make you happy. Cheers, Jay. It is lovely out here. There is no doubt. Hello, John. How we doing? And Jay, appreciate the love, you champion. What's-y toity. We're now going to go on with basic purple. Basic purple. Heavy-bodied purple too. Not the chill kind. Not the chill kind. The kind with all the pop. And I might... Do I dare? Ooh, yes, we'll do it. A little bit of white. Just a touch. Nothing too major. And now we'll use this brush. Hey, Stephen. I appreciate you, mate. You know what I'd love to? I'd love if I could fill your house with... Hey, Stephen. I appreciate you, mate. You know what I'd love to? I'd love if I could fill your house with... Steve. Steve. Not everyone can afford originals. They're expensive. That's why prints are fantastic. John, I did a whole bunch of things. A whole eclectic bunch. Best place to find that's my About Me section. But I did some university. I did a whole bunch in high school, a whole bunch of tutoring. And I think the thing that taught me the most out of all the things, one of the things that really helped was actually I actually finished with an art history and philosophy degree. And that's one of the things that pushed me the furthest as an artist. Not over other people, but over myself, in that my ability to understand the why behind art for myself when I start and finish painting, that was actually what got me out of a few initial ruts when it came to art. Struggles I had, knowing why to make it or what it should look like. It was actually the art history and understanding the other great artists, and their path that they went down and how it changed them and developed them in different ways. It was looking at that and then thinking, I'm approaching this from the wrong direction. I'm thinking about this wrong. I'm trying to do something perfect because I think that's what everyone wants to see. I'm trying to make lovely, beautiful little gradients over the surface because I feel like that'll make people happy. Because I feel like if I do that, the art will be more meaningful for them. This is back at university and after uni. And then when I started actually painting for me, making art that I believed in, that I felt strongly about. And cheers, Jules, I appreciate that. So I was doing it for me, so it wasn't actually to show anyone else. That's why a lot of artists will say that's important. I was doing it for me, and what I came to realize was people loved the stuff that I made when sort of I made it for me, but actually it was this wild, chaotic, crazy style, which I did for me because it was the way I thought I could best capture the world around me. And when other people connected through it and saw what I saw in the work, you can imagine how fulfilling that moment becomes. And once you're fulfilled by that, you start to realize, okay, it was actually a diamond in the rough. I didn't quite see how important it was for me to make art in the way I believed in, to attract the people who thought the same. Not just because there's a bunch of ways to make art, but actually when you're trying to capture that real element, to not only just put a roof over your head, but actually to give yourself that real internal fulfillment, that comes from actually finding what you truly believe in, what you know connects people, or have come to know connects people. That's the important thing. You're welcome, John. As you can see, I've got some time up my hand right now. It's a beautiful day. I'd like it to continue to be a beautiful day for me. Staying outside here, making this picture, little stroke by little stroke. You're late. Fair enough. Fair enough, Jules. Well, I appreciate you popping in here briefly with me. Obviously. Okay, give us there. Kind of need a bigger brush for this background. Here we are. Ooh, ooh, ta ta ta. Ooh, ta ta ta. Ooh, ta 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 ta. Ooh, ta ta ta. Just gonna. Hello from Germany. The only real Jason. What a privilege to have you. We have got the only real Jason out there. The one, the only. You are my one and only. You can wrap your fingers round my thumb and hold me tight, and it'll be alright. It's a little bit, that wasn't me, that was the paint. I swear. I see you're modest there too, it's nice to see. And Spain is a beautiful place. Beautiful place. One of my favourite places on the face of this earth is Spain. Let's get a little bit of this. You are my one and only. You can wrap your fingers around my thumb and hold me tight, and it'll be alright. You're in Manhattan now? The real Lady of Liberty days. Alright. Alright. I'm doing good, by the way. Of course I'm doing good. This beautiful day. This beautiful weather that we get. Beautiful everything. Yeah. I went there with Shelby to Munich. It was fun. Old Munich. For Beer Fest. We had lots of beers. You can wrap your fingers around my thumb and hold me tight, and it'll be alright. You are my one and only. How's your position there? Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Now we're looking from a distance. Interesting. She's gorgeous. Perfect. There we are. Reminds me of Leroy Neiman. And it's, oh, yes. Yes, I like that dude. We deviate slightly, but I love the parallel that you're forming. Beautiful. He's I used to study him when I was in art school, art history class. Really, really interesting how someone like that doing colourful paintings. There's so many colourful paintings out there, but he approached his ones in a way that made them stand out. We ask ourselves, how did he do that? Why did they stand out? Not because we desire, maybe we do deep down, desire to replicate it, but actually, I think there's an element of us which is just really interested to understand the human mind in a way that why are we attracted to these paintings? There's a world of paintings out there. Why Leroy's? You could say, oh, because he had a gallery represent him. He had a person who sold his artwork. He was just at the right place at the right time. Was he? Because I'm still looking at it now. I'm not buying it. but I'm looking at it, and for me it's more special. I see something in it, and you're like, okay, so there's this enigma, this feature, this something behind certain paintings that some seem to have. Leroy's had it, and others don't seem to have. What is that enigma? It's like the human condition to, even though we can experience it, we have to nail it down. What is it exactly? What is it doing? How does it function? Can we exacerbate it? Could we exacerbate it for profit? But actually, I think we're just drawn to something quite primal. Something that really speaks to us on the most basic elements of our brain. Is it a reptilian brain? On the most basic level, we see something real inside chaos and paint. You'd be like, I don't, really? Go to some of the biggest art galleries, go to Macau, or like go to some massive art show and tell me not a single piece moves you? You didn't see something? I mean, maybe it was just the fault of that particular art show that you saw and thought, actually, nah, all art's done. None of it's good for me. But if real art's put in front of you, something, and when I say real art, you choose that, so you need to find it. But surely when that moment happens, we all wonder, why are we so disproportionately attached? Like love, actually. You're like, why do I disproportionately like this person? How does that work? And the older we get, the more rational we try to think. And the weirdest thing about that is we sort of let our age and our rationality tell us, the older we get, that love doesn't exist. Through whatever factors, slowly teaching yourself that actually you don't deserve love, maybe. That you don't think you can ever get it now because your current storyline. That's the most tragic one. To feel like the things that have happened to you have made it impossible within this universe for you to find love. To actually feel like, I mean, I know we've felt that thought maybe, but to feel like someone else holds that thought, don't you just want to pick them up and hug them and be like, mate, do not worry. That is not what's happening here. You may not have found it yet, but you do deserve love. You just want to grab them and give them a big hug. Hello, Jay. How we doing? I remember his paintings at the time. It was kind of art form people went nuts about. Yeah. And I don't think it's just that art form, though. Maybe it is. Maybe it is because it does it the best. But I think we always, as humans, can appreciate when someone's doing something real. It's infectious. It's contagious. You can feel that something's afoot. Like you've been given information, but your instincts are telling you that there's more to this picture than your current intel tells you. I don't know. Or maybe we're just the kind of beings that are attracted to chaos, and sometimes wild, strange paint seems to stroke that feeling without it actually being the whole picture. We're just chaotic beings who like a bit of wilderness, irrationality. Love, probably, and love for something singular. I think we love our partner or our friends because they're the only one like that in the whole world. We probably form the same sort of love or bond with a painting in that it's the only one in the whole world. A wedding ring, it's the only one like this. It's custom made. And so when you think like that, actually there's a beauty behind things that there only exists one of, because the animal part of our brain feels like that's something that you can trust your soul to love. I know that's deep, but quite irrefutable. And that's why we don't like art that can be replicated. We don't believe it's the true art, because true art would only have one of it. And if there was only one of it, then that makes it something that you could love. I need to put that, I'm going to rewatch that and write that down. There's an interesting thought in there. And that's why art needs that irreplicable quality. The purples and greens look fab together. Hi Liliana. I'm glad you like them. We're going to keep steering into these greens and purples. We're going to get more of it. Now the greens will embellish the background with the blues, and there'll be a lot on the Liberty statue herself. But those pinks and purples, they'll add that life underneath. And that life underneath, that's going to be where this painting gets a lot of its beauty from. We don't want cold stone. It was the best we had for sculpture, but we love colour. We love feeling like there's life. You very rarely look at any of the statues in Rome in their unpainted, raw marble state and think, it could just come alive right now. Sometimes, in certain lighting conditions. But actually, we form a better connection when we see the colours of life. So rosy cheeks are a sign of vitality. You never see someone with bright rosy cheeks and smiling and think, God, they look so tired. The bright rosy cheeks usually feel like they've got vitality to them. It's the same as with a statue. If we cover it in bright rosy colours, it's going to feel like it's more alive in that one moment than it would if we didn't. Seb, have you done a firefighter painting? No. But that would be fun. A firefighter painting. Yeah. Okay, see, you'd want to have it as a hero kind of image. Like that song Heroes Are Made by Bryan Adams. Also sort of give off those sort of vibes. Or just do an explosion of colours. I don't know, I'd have to see the photo. Will it? I don't know, I'd have to see the photo, to be honest. Cheers, Sasquatch. It's actually a whole bunch of crazy, stupid, wild paint that forms the Statue of Liberty. The fact that you're saying, in all this chaos, you say there's a Statue of Liberty there, it actually means, Sasquatch, we're on the right track. That's where we want to be going. Where have you been? All over the show, but I'm glad to be back. And JXS, I love your passion. First off, that's fantastic. This is actually a commission, so it's not going to be for sale, but I'm glad you love it. Enjoy it, Liliana. I like New York. I can't afford New York, but I like New York. Oh, I don't know. When I say afford New York, my expectations are so high. I live here in New Zealand, and I expect open air. I expect to be able to breathe. I expect a backyard. And when you start talking like that in New York, you better own half of Amazon. But those are like the, that's not to say that's the whole picture. We make these, concessions through everything we do in life. Because I live in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand, I don't get fast Amazon. We don't get any Amazon. I think our Amazon arrives in 3 to 4 weeks if we did order from it. I don't get Applebee's. It's not fair. It's not fair. Coming on up here. Yes, Sasquatch. It's good to be outside. Long time coming, eh? And Wolfgang, that depends. If you were, then that might have been the case. So, we love to have you here, Wolfgang, though. But if you're at home, you can go to the kitchen, you can grab yourself a glass of water, and we'll love you for it. Do you get KFC? We do. And you know what? I'm going to really offend you here. Really offend you. KFC in New Zealand is the best KFC in the world. We're passionate about our KFC. You might be as well. Trust me. I know you invented it. We improved it. Hey Jamie, how we doing? Same day delivery? Yeah, so if you like same day delivery, you're either doing it yourself or you should not move to New Zealand because we don't do same day delivery. We do a island time. You've ordered it from Kiwiland, it'll get there when it gets there. There might be some delivery companies who are saying, no, we pride ourselves on efficiency. Yeah, but we're ordering from everyone. And when we're ordering from everyone, the reliability that we now accept to be the case in pictures and things we order online, is just that it probably won't arrive straight away. Whereas if you're in New York and you order something, you expect that something. There's a system here and it's a good system. But we don't have that same reliability in New Zealand. You're just likely not to get it. Unless you're experiencing the same thing. Hello Birdie, how we doing? Oh no, Sasquatch. You know what? Send me a picture of it. I bet it's actually fantastic. I think you're just giving yourself a hard time. I keep saying that too. Like a lot of the time you'll make a painting. And Taika Waititi actually, if that's his name, the guy who directed Thor, he was saying that some days when he writes, he's a master, right? He's one of the best of the best. He does the biggest movies. He was saying that when he writes, he actually does just sometimes sit down in front of a laptop. He's just unhappy. He just stares at it for 12 hours and then he has to give up and close the screen and come back tomorrow and do better. Now, when you start talking like that, and you're talking about the greats doing that, what you realize is that actually sometimes the off day isn't an off day. It's actually just an annoying part of your process, and it's a tax you pay for creativity. That some days are just not going to go as planned. Call it creativity tax. And when you have to pay it, no one in this world's getting really butthurt about their taxes. At the end of the day, we all just say, yep, that's how much it costs, we pay our tax and move on. I suppose because then we'll end up in a jail cell as well, which makes it tough. But actually, where was I going with that trail of thought? When it comes to creativity, we should actually get excited about paying that tax. I'm not saying you should get excited about disliking everything you've ever made and sitting in front of a laptop screen, beating yourself up. But sometimes that's part of making a painting. Sometimes in the world of chaos, it doesn't come together for you. And it's just part of your process, of anyone's process, to actually sit there in front of a canvas, which at this particular moment, they're not falling in love with. Because if you're not falling in love with the work you're making, it's not worth making. There's no amount you'll get paid for that piece of work that'll justify your misery for creating it. Because if paint's not made with love, misery will seep in. If it seeps in, it takes over. And if it takes over, you're making paintings that reflect that. Even Van Gogh, who would consider the most tortured of all artists, I bet he felt joy when he was making his creations. I bet he felt pleasure and happiness while making it, even though his life didn't reflect that. And that's why years later, we don't look at his works and see misery. We look at his works and see happiness, pleasure and joy within the process of painting. There's one reprieve in a life of being a tortured artist. See, we get the feeling that if you're the tortured artist, you should be tortured when you make the art. But actually, the mascot, Van Gogh, being a tortured artist, the only time he wasn't tortured was when he was making art. And to get that twisted can really confuse young artists. Anyway, I'm going to be back in just a second. I'm going to refill this with a little bit of water. One moment, team. You'll still be able to hear me though, because you are on the mic. So I'm going to bring this through here, bring it through here with that tap. Have a quick glass before I come back. And one more. Beautiful. One full glass and one for backup. That's how I like it. Here I come. Here I come. Da 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 dun dun da 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 dun dun. All right. I've got a little bit of a dry throat, excuse that. But that is just stunning. Delicious water. Let me come back here. Can you make one from Mexico of an Angel of Independence Day? I love the idea. I love the passion. This one's a commission. And I've been to this city 6 times, so there's a passion in me for this particular one as well. I'm not saying that wouldn't be a passion for the Angel of Independence. I have a very good friend who stays nearby, but it's that. We'd need to do the project together. I need to feed off your passion. You need to tell me more about it. Seeing that you sound like a singer's voice, do you sing? That's designs. It's like, wait a minute, you're doing it the wrong way around. You're doing it the wrong way around. No, it's all correct. Sometimes it just reflects it. And I love your passion. I love your passion. What you want to do is jump on the link in my bio and tell me, first off, whereabouts in Mexico you are, and second off, lose my trail of thought here, size you're after. So that way we can put together a project and make it come together from there. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. Do a song. James is like, comes onto a stream. He sees a builder building a building and goes, swim a lap. And the builder's like, I'm literally building right now. It's confusing. He jumps on an artist, screaming, goes, sing a song. I mean, it's all good. It's all good. But I'm actually not that great of a singer. I do so because I like it. But it's definitely not one thing that you start a conversation with. Hey, I'm Joe. I'm a fantastic singer. I'm not at that level. Not even sure a lot of singers are at that level. Be egotistical to be at that level. Would it be? Probably. Beautiful. I can purposely make some of the, yeah, yes, absolutely. You want the link in the bio. That's what you're after. That's what will sort you out. There's a temptation to, well, we could try and flesh it out right now on the stream, but it doesn't do the Statue of Liberty any justice. When I do your painting, it'll get my absolute undivided attention, because that's fair. But in this present moment, I need to have my attention on this painting. I need to be giving this everything to slowly build up reality through it. Yes, in New Zealand. No, apparently I don't understand tone that well, and so apparently I go flat a lot. So it's on me. You recognize my pick, and it's fantastic. Oh, yes, gotcha. I thought you were talking about the one on the stream. And I was like, it's just a picture of me smiling with a canvas. But yeah, this is a fun picture. Majestic. Let's grab some more black, I think. Phthalo blue, just raw phthalo. Throw this around a little bit. Are you living by... not fully getting that one, Sasquatch. Hold on. Where's... I hear everyone calling Sasquatch mean. I'm trying to see what was happening. I missed it. Sasquatch has some strong views. We've had a few of them. And I appreciate Sasquatch for the views he's fired directly at me, because it gives an alternate opinion. But if you're not liking it, we may need to ask Sasquatch to politely stop. Hey, Moonlight. Moonlight Bay. That's a clever name. It looks like a bay at moonlight. And it's a name. Clever. She knows what she's doing. Hey, James. Never been better, thanks for asking. Alright. Hats off to Brendan. He's never been better. You know what I like to have? Someone in the room right now hanging out who's never been better. You know how potent that is for energy? How are you doing? Oh, having the best day of my life. What about yourself? Obviously, that's someone you'd like to know. Obviously. Genuinely. It's a vulnerable thing to tell, actually, to say to someone. How are you doing? I'm having the best day of my life. Because that insinuates that with the people you're with right now, you care about to a level that actually there's nothing else you've done in your life that you believe currently to be more significant than the current interaction you're having with the people around you. It's threatening because, honestly, coming to someone with a feeling like that and them not feeling the same way, it's almost like having your heart broken. Like, because you are my bestest of best friends. And they say, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, it takes courage to say you're having the best day of your life. And we've all had it. We've all had the best day of our lives. We might have a better one. We may have a better one. But right now, we've all had the best day. Can we pin it down? Or are we too insecure to actually say one day? Or probably too kind as well. Is it fair to pick one group of friends over another? I suppose you could have multiple best days, as long as you could admit when you were truly happy. I suppose that's the important thing. Thanks, Moonlight. I appreciate that. All right. Down here. Yeah. See, I love this length. I love this length, but you wouldn't go any longer than this because you can see how I'm already tilting down to get those last little bits of paint on. I love it. I love it, but actually any further and we're going to start causing ourselves some issues. And higher as well, see that? We're not going higher than that. That's the limitation. We are stretching to the limitation. So, I guess what you could say though, if you were doing art based on the, like, trying to find the canvas that complements your body the best, how high you can reach, how low you can go, I suppose you would, in all fairness, actually, the bigger the artist, the bigger the work. Mike. You know, Mike, I would love for you to have it, but you know this is a commission. This one has a home. So I love that you've got passion for it. but you know I can't part with it. Well, I have to part with it, but I need to reach a point where I feel like I can't. I need to want it more than the commission's worth. That's the key. I'd have to, the right mind frame to be in is if they called you tomorrow and said the commission's off, that you'd breathe a sigh of relief and be happy to keep your painting. That's how much passion that I believe you want to put behind that kind of work. You just got to find a way to do that every time. Hello, NM. Good to have you here. NM, welcome on in. We're making a statue. There we go, just a little bit up here. There we are, beautiful. Beautiful. Amen. Yeah. We're in agreement, Mike. We're in 100% agreement. But yarning about that feeling of losing a piece of artwork, it's not sacrifice. Ah, bumblebee. Yuck. No, stay away. Oh, I hit him with a plate. Now I feel bad. He's bailed though. Glad that little fella's gone. If I got stung by a bumblebee, we'd have to stop the stream. It's not allergic. My grandfather was allergic, but for me, it just gets so puffy. It would be, if it stung me on the neck here, it would look like this giant bauble here for the next week or two. It'd be disgusting. So, wasps aren't as bad. Wasps are like 10x mosquito stings. Mosquito bites. Oh, more like 40x. But those pesky little bees, man, they'll do me one. I had to take the first 2 weeks off a new school one time because the day beforehand and the weekend I was playing in the garden. Bang! It was swelled up my foot so bad I couldn't walk on the thing. It's too puffy. So, great start to a new school year. Imagine all people living for today. Here we are. Lady Liberty, yes, bold dreamer, indeed. That's what we are up to. What else has been said here? I missed a few comments. When I stop like this, it's because a breeze is coming through. I don't want it to catch the canvas, so that's how we deal with that. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Do. Yeah. How tall am I? I'm short. Nah, not too short. I forget now. I'm under 6 foot. 5'11". I think I'm one short. 12 inches to the foot. I think I'm 5'11". Let's jump in here. My iPad's down to its final 10%. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I'd say, oh, look at you go. Look at you go. There we go. Splash that around. Letters. A bit more white. There we are. Hey, Fernando. Jeepers. Hey, Sammy. In comes the light. Here comes the sun. Little darling. That's what we needed. And Zamba, I'm so sorry. The painting is not available. It's not a thing. The painting is a commission. So it's already got a home. It's already got a home. But there will be prints. There will be prints. This wild, chaotic piece of work. I'm in love with it. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. She's coming together. In a sort of unique way too. This doesn't feel like your regular Statue of Liberty. It's got a different, it's still got that hope and freedom in it. But she almost seems younger in this painting. Like the ideals that the Liberty statue stood for are somewhat ageless. That, would you say she was ignorant to want that in her youth? Of course not. Of course she's not. But she seems younger, even with this crazy, chaotic paint. Not sure why. Anyway. Cheers, Sammy. Do you sell your paintings and where? That's a good question. So in terms of where, there's currently no paintings available. They're sold out. I've got a few works that I keep in my home for myself, and I'm working on a collection at the moment to make available on the website. But at the moment, there's nothing. So the only way to get a work is to get a commission done and commission an original. And I'm doing commissions for the rest of March at the moment. So if you'd like one, we might be able to get something sorted for April, which would be pretty fun. There we are. She looks thinner. She is a bit thinner, yes. But give it time on that front, because this side will expand out a little bit, and this part here, although it looks like it tucks behind the book at the moment, will actually come out over the book a wee bit. I'll even put one little line in here to define, yeah, see that? She'll have that room there, and this here, but good point, she isn't that. That's where we want it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Sibierra Art Museum, I wish there was enough of that. At the moment, like I say, just the three pieces. Three pieces in me. But I'm keeping those three pieces in my home. The giraffe, the Pelly, and me, that kid's book. Three pieces and me. That's all I've got. But I've always thought that too, that the most meaningful art would be art that you actually commissioned. That you said, this is what I love. Let's work together and make something unique and different together. Surely that's the art that comes from that has the potential to mean so much. Like, you'd have to wonder, would I be here making the Statue of Liberty right now if it hadn't been for meeting an individual on the other side of the planet and sharing a moment to embrace his passion for capturing this picture in a piece of artwork. It's actually, the client and artist become both fundamental characters in the process. Wouldn't you want to, as an art collector, know that actually the art's existence in itself isn't just something that happens and you happen to exist in this world beside it, but that art's existence hinges on your collection of it, on your request for it to exist. Does that make you form more of a connection with the art as a collector? I've got a few pieces that I commissioned. Pretty much all the art I own has been commissioned. But in that, I look at the piece, and part of the beauty I find in it is the fact that it exists because I had the passion or belief in an idea or enough confidence to go to someone and ask to bring it into existence. Not so much of what it was of, actually, just the fact that I played a role in it being part of this world. I love that beauty behind something. We're on 5% now. The old iPad's getting low. It's getting low. Good one, House Designs. Good one. But that will be part of it. And it's not actually making her larger in any way. It's just that the dress and the fabrics on it bloom around this area some more. So we'll capture that. Let's get a bit more white. Get a bit more white. There we go. Just through here. There we are. All right. Whoop. Here comes a spitting shower, guys. We've had our fun. All right, team, we will pause there. It's been fun, but now the weather's coming on down. Don't worry, it's fast, dry paints, so it'll actually keep it safe. Even right now, if I kept painting, I could technically keep going. The issue only comes out with the paint on the paint tray, actually, because the paint tray paint gets more moist than I want it to get as it captures the water. The picture straight up and down, even with this, we can still go for the art. We'll just need a cap on top of the actual paint palette, which I don't have. But honestly, it feels quite nice. A little bit of rain feels delightful. Not quite enough to pull the phones in, but we'll see if it's a passing shower. I see some big brooding clouds up here, so I think that we might just have to call it there. This might just be our life now. Yeah, it's fun. It's looking wonderful though. That's exactly what we're after. That's exactly what we want. Face painting, hand painting, There we go. So we're dealing with that, but yeah, I think that's us. All right, guys, unless anyone had any questions, I'll give you a quick little 30 seconds, and if no good questions come through, then I will run off and start doing some emails instead. But if you guys have another idea, no, I'm not Sammy. I'm very, 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 very taken with a baby on the way in 2 months. Nadia, your question just got answered. Hello, it's just Joey. How you doing? Is there anyone I can say something constructive to? Is there anyone who I could tell about art? Would anyone like to know what colours match what colours? I'll tell you what, just because that shower seems like it might subside, if the rain comes in, I'm gone, disappear. But if it holds out for just a little bit longer, let me go like this. I love doing this. I want Chatbot GBT. I pay for 4, which is the more expensive one. 4 hardest questions. I'll tell you what we'll do. This is even better. Where's that thing? I can't push it. 4 hardest questions to ask an artist. Asking an artist challenging? Huh? Just trying to load. How do you think your work will evolve? I'm constantly studying every night and day, looking at different painting styles, looking at different ways of making art, seeing how AI is affecting the scene, because your work will change in the way that you'll use whatever tools you need to reach your core values. Mine have always been to create more connection amongst people and actually make sure that the painting is as wild and as primal as it can be, while still having a subject that we can bond over, you know. So it's likely new tools will come into creation that actually I might find better than paint, but paint itself wins because of that primal element. So it's quite hard to say. Crazy day though? That's an excellent question. If you take a chicken and get a hamster, what would you get? No idea. Great question though. When are you going to continue the emotion series? I'm going to work through these 4 commissions right now, but probably another emotion series out in 10 days. We'll grab another emotion and build from there. But at the moment, I want to get these projects out during the start of this month. So that's been prioritized over our fun little emotion session. I've been doing art ever since I was 3, and I've always loved it. It's kind of like, I think Steve Jobs says it the best. He yarns about saying, it's not this giant dream that's screaming in the back of your head. It's just a whisper. And you have to actually take some time to figure out who you are to hear the whisper that's whispering. For me, that was, I should be a painter. In a rough way of speaking. Thanks for subscribing, Jenny. I appreciate you. Coming on down. Did you adopt a dog? I haven't adopted a dog, but I do agree with that. In terms of pets, we've got 1 dog for me and Shelby, which lives at Shelby's parents' place because our current accommodation doesn't allow pets. So that's our current thing. I know you're a natural, but if you had to force a theme or topic, what would it look like? If I had to force something out of a picture, I would force out vitality. And I say that because I feel like the use of phones we have these days and the use of a lot of, is it sedentary? When we, a lot of sitting in our lifestyle, TVs and things like this, we get lethargic and there's not that vitality to it. And so if I was to force a topic, it would be vitality or vigor. Not because I believe they're more important than the other emotions or topics, but at this particular year, I seem to feel like everyone could use more of that. Not in an aggressive sense, just in a be you kind of a sense. That's what I reckon. And hello Santiago, how we doing? Good to have you here. Cheers, I appreciate that. But no, it's actually just stopped. So I wasn't running from these chatbot questions. Here we go. Chatbot GBT says the 4 hardest questions you can ask an artist. What's the deepest meaning or message behind your work? That's the easiest question you could possibly ask. It's a silly one. We know what the meaning behind it is. It's to capture something real and human and authentic. It's to be wild and crazy and chaotic. It's to allow for human connection to occur and proliferate happiness, vitality, and joy in the world. You can just rattle that off. You don't need to actually... That's not a challenging question. Hold on, let me go like this. What if you were trying to haggle them on stage? We'll see what chatbot comes back with, and if it's anything good, we'll be good to go. And then I'm going to wash my brushes too. It's doing a clever trick right now, and that it's not giving me an answer, because that way it'd be doing a very meta haggle. Okay. Can you share your process and time invented creating this piece? Well, being that we do everything live when we make these paintings, I don't think that's really a haggle. I think that's just someone who hasn't been watching. Are you flexible? No, sorry. Are there any flexible terms you might consider for the sale, such as payment plans, bundled discounts, and multiple purchases? I mean, yeah, that would be a problem, but like, you'd have to ask why. In terms of that stuff, there is, interestingly enough, things like payment plans do come up all the time to actually make it more viable for some people. But yeah, I guess it is flexible. But it's not, it doesn't really actually come up that often. It's not really the most relevant element. How do you price your work? What are the factors you consider? That's a good question. Pricing work is different for every person. But I think when I started out, the system I followed was to say, I'll charge it out like a builder's invoice. So there'll be materials, time taken, shipping, boxing, framing, and you'll get all of it broken down so you can see where the cost went and where you're being charged. That helped me feel more secure, like I wasn't doing anything unfair to anyone, which when you're starting and you don't know how to think about it, or if you're just buying your first paintings and you don't know how to think about it, having someone who's an artist tell you, okay, that's fine linen canvas over cedar, so that's at least a $700 canvas, that's at least 20 hours spent by the artist in the work, that's going to cost about X amount to ship and X amount to frame. And the reason why that would matter is it's not because you want to put a value on art and then understand it through that value. It's actually usually because what you want to do is understand how much of that value is going to the artist and how much went into building the work. Like Jeff Koons, for example, those big blow-up animal things that cost $50 million, they cost a lot of money to build, tens of thousands of dollars in most cases to get these things manufactured. So there's cogs to some of these elements. Now I know with his work, it's vastly offset, but if you think about work that you're buying at a farmer's market, it is a relevant piece of information if it costs $500, that 450 of that is in the canvas and the paint, and the artist isn't making anything, they're just trying to show their art to the world, or whether actually there's about $20 in that work. And so, okay, we're paying for 430, say, dollars worth of artist time, or value that you put in the artist. Their involvement, you value it that much. And that's quite cool to understand as a collector, because a lot of the time we go about, if you hear every yarn about art, it's always the artist whinging that I don't know how much I should charge. But we never see it from the collector's perspective, which we're all collectors because we all see things that are beautiful and we all like to put them in our lives. And then it comes down to a matter of means. But in terms of for the collector, we need to ask the question, what makes you feel safe? What makes you feel like your tastes are justified, or you're not being used? Because I know we don't like to talk about that, but there are people in this world that will use you, artists included. And so how does the collector get the security to know I'm not being used, I'm being cared for, I'm making a decision based on my tastes, and I won't regret this decision later? This is all part of the stuff. All the commissions happen online. Don't fully understand the question. So everything happens online. I typically film the entire process, except for some of the boring bits. Sometimes when I say boring bits, prepping the canvas, I do an occasional video on canvas prep, but do you really want to watch me paint a canvas white? It's not thrilling. It's not that moment where you can understand the project better. It's just the craft and the maintenance element. All right, team. Is that going to keep coming down? We'll give that a chance. Last question. Is this work part of a series, or is it consideration as a one piece, blah, blah, blah? It's not a hard question. For that one question, I would say these are commissions. So I'm out of here. It's raining heavy. It's been fun, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye.